Hey guys, I'm not sure if it kicked back on yet. Yeah, it did. Hey, sorry about that. This app that I use, I'm experimenting with an app to do mobile streaming, because I want to be able to do streams on the road with my family and integrate that into my life a little bit better than having to be tied to my office all of the time. And as such, this particular app seems to have trouble staying connected for an extended period of time. It seems to tap out somewhere around about an hour and a half, 2 hours of a stream. So I'm trying to pull the stream back up, but the YouTube gaming app seriously needs some work. But rest assured, here shortly, we're going to jump right back into what I was talking about in the pickup. I believe where we left off was me talking about the book, The Intelligent Investor, by Benjamin Graham, who, by the way, Benjamin Graham, good God, this tablet sucks. I hate this tablet. Benjamin Graham was Warren Buffett's teacher. So if you don't know who Warren Buffett is, he's one of the wealthiest men on the planet. So, or at least in the United States, but also on the planet. Okay, we're back. Looks like we've got everyone back in the stream here. Let me pull it up on my PC as well. Just give me a sec. We'll be back up here in no time. I promise thee. Actually, let's go back to this and stop that stream. Yes, so that can go back here, live, and then go to the watch page. Okay, so we're back in business. Okay, looks like we got almost everybody back. Excellent. Thank you so much for being patient. I know it's a pain when the stream cuts off in the middle of me talking. But like I said, one of the things I'll encourage you guys to do is always experiment. You know, I'm always a big fan of saying there's no black and white answers unless it's a question about physics or a question about faith, depending on what you believe in. But even there's a lot of answers that aren't necessarily black and white. So always be experimenting. Like, I'm going to want to start, especially once it gets warmer, to start doing live streams when I'm out with my family and to show you guys some parts of my life, to make the show a little bit more personal, so that you know it's not just some talking head that gets on here every week and spouts off a bunch of information. I want to be able to bring you to a certain degree into what I do in my life, show you my lifestyle, and just, you know, show you what's on the other side of this guy who's passionate about gaming and gamers and trying to build a stronger gaming community. But where we left off was basically me just talking about how what I'm doing here, specifically why, you know, that age-old question, why do you make quality content and your subscribers this low? Because quality content's not the problem. Quality content is not the solution either. It's not the only problem and solution. The bigger issue is supply and demand. The fact of the matter is there is not a high demand for people who do these types of knowledge sessions. Okay? Only 1 million people on YouTube. Several of them are already successful. So you can take it to the bank. At least, you know, several 100,000 of that million don't even need this type of talk because they're already successful. Even though I'd argue that I'm always a proponent of I can learn from everybody. Like, I have people with 3 subscribers send me tips. And sometimes it's legit, something I didn't think of. And I'm like, bet, I learn from everybody because I'm not arrogant to the point where I think I'm reading all these books and I know everything. I don't know everything. I'm not right about everything either. Sometimes I make mistakes. We may get 20 years down the road and this doesn't apply anymore. I mean, supply and demand will always apply, but some of this stuff over here and what we're talking about may change. Okay? So my encouragement to you all is to experiment, is to learn from the other people out there who can bring something of value. So with that said, let's get into, if we can, some questions here. Let me go back up to the top, make sure I didn't miss anything. Hey guys, make sure you're sharing. I always forget to say this at the beginning of the streams. Make sure as soon as you get here that you share the stream on social media so that we can reach and help more people, all right? So Darkfeather22 says, yo, B, let me say I'm loving the book. And he's talking about the YouTube Gamer Survival Guide. We'll definitely do a video review and what I learned from it. Been down today. Word. I'm glad you're digging it, man. Excellent. The A7 cap reminds you of Mass Effect. Sweet. Okay, thank you, Ranger J. So the last stream ended on 1 million isn't that large of a number when you think about it. So what I said after that was 1 million people is a lot of people, but it's not that many in terms of, like basically the people who are going to be interested in this type of content are going to be creators, not just regular YouTubers. So there's 1 billion people out there looking at content, but they don't care about this stuff because they just want to watch and be entertained. There's only a pool of 1 million people that we can pull from to do this type of stuff. And in that pool, a very small number of them are gamers. Now, I've done my own kind of backdoor mathematics to try to figure out exactly how many people that is. I don't know if it's right because, like I said, Google won't share that information with me. But it's not a very big number, right? And same thing goes for even in any vertical. So if I chose all of the verticals, then yeah, I could pull a percentage of the million. But I'm only pulling a percentage of gamers because that's where I focus. Now, granted, I do get beauty. I do get food vertical people. I do get entertainment and music vertical people that do come here for knowledge session stuff. But they're the outliers. They're not the normal. And there's quite a few of them. But I don't target them. And we talk about, the importance of having a target audience and how to focus your strategy toward a specific target audience to help your YouTube channel be successful. But the folks that you see, so when you look at my channel and you wonder, how on earth is he not, getting 7 billion subscribers, and all that stuff? It's because the amount of people, the supply and demand for what I do, the demand is very low. Right? Now the supply is low. I don't know of anybody else that dedicates an entire channel to this type of coaching specifically for gamers. I know people that coach and people that give tips, and some of it's good, some of it's great, some of it's not so good, but it's usually because it's outdated, not because they're like maliciously trying to mislead somebody. But there's not really any other channel that's specifically focused on, at least not one that I know of. But even though there's not much supply, there's also not much demand. But there will be. But the thing that I've got to get through to you all, because you're not necessarily trying to be coaches necessarily, is that you have to go where there's demand. You've got to tailor content around a demand. Again, if you're the person selling laptops in the Sahara Desert, nobody's demanding that. Nobody's going to want to watch it. So that is a bigger problem for your channel than any of this other stuff. Again, except I put SEO in here because I'm specifically talking about people that are obsessed with, it's my tags. That's why nobody's watching my video. It's not your tags, okay? It's you didn't have tags centered around something that people wanted to see is the point that I'm trying to make. And that this is really that kind of foundational layer of what makes SEO possible when it's done right. Okay, but out of all of these, this one will certainly kill you, even if you get this right and you screw this up, because again, you're going to have competition trying to sell food and water where there's arguably 100,000 other people trying to sell food and water. You've got to figure out where can you specifically find a customer base that nobody else is reaching, and then you go get them, and it's a big enough base to help you reach your goals, right? But YouTube is going to continue to grow, which is going to work for and against us because it's going to bring more eyeballs. With those eyeballs, it's going to bring more competition as well. So that's where we're going to run into more of the challenges as more creators figure out. And that's what I was saying too, that YouTube is in its infancy in terms of creators, where there's 1 million of us, but it hasn't gotten saturated. Like, we're still in, at best, the early adopter phase, I believe, with creators. And I could be totally wrong about that, but I don't think I am, because there's still a lot of people who don't really get YouTube. And I mean younger people who watch it, but don't really understand what's happening. Like, they couldn't necessarily understand how to make... Like, I was talking to a lady yesterday. I was doing some consulting, and I stopped to talk to some people that I knew where I was doing the work at, and they had a new lady that was working with them, and I was just introducing myself, and I was telling her about the stuff that I do on YouTube. She's like, I didn't even know YouTube had certification and had all these people making content like that. So, and these aren't old people. These aren't people in their late 30s or 40s. These are people young enough to understand what's going on YouTube. So it hasn't gotten to the point where a lot of the people who are eventually going to figure out, oh, there's money to be made here, so let's go do this, right? And then when that happens, I'll continue. And again, like, I focus on the ninjas. Like, I don't focus on opportunists. In fact, I do things to intentionally push opportunists away, because I don't want those are people that, it's almost like in a product-based business, that's the customer you don't want, because they're always complaining about the thing they had to pay $20 for, like it was their life savings, and maybe it was, I don't know. But for the love of God, like, it's not the customer that you want. They're always upset about something. Why is this not working or that not working? They're so self-absorbed. I want ninjas that are selfless. We're not ever completely selfless, but that's essentially the people that I'm targeting. All right, so that helps you understand, hopefully, a little bit better where you may have been focusing your attention. So I'm not saying that you don't do these things, because they're good things when implemented properly, okay? But your focus should be on figuring out, what does the market want, and what can I do to bring something to that market that will make them want to be a part. I give them value, and through altruistic reciprocation, they want to give me of their time by spending their subscriber currency. All right, let's take some comments and questions here. So Evan is yelling at me saying, you really need to figure out that streaming thing, buddy. I don't appreciate your tone, Evan. I'm going to ban you. All right. So yeah, I've got it figured out. I'm just still want to work with this app. And until I find a better app, you're just going to have to live with it there, Buster. So there. Anyway, it's me teasing one of my team members, man. Don't think, for those of you that may have just tuned in or new here, don't think I'm yelling at Evan. Is a friend of mine. All right, he's one of the best friends gang here at Alloy 7. So I give him a hard time because I'm allowed to. So Galactic Gaming says, I need ghetto Alloy from the last stream. If I ever start doing stand-up, because that was something I had always planned maybe to do later in life, once, I have my family and everything, like, completely, like, we're in the house where we're going to settle down, and, all that stuff. We are wealthy enough to where I can just do whatever the heck I want. Like, I've thought about, like, then you'll get to see some more of those antics, maybe. Double Pulse says, sup, man. Who else do we have? Cosrico says, my content would definitely have low demand. And understand, it's not just about chasing fads when I say high demand. When you want high demand, it's a relative thing. Okay, I'm not telling you to go out there and immediately start doing, what is it, Counter-Strike? Is that I think that's what that game's called. Counter-Strike Global Offensive. If you don't like that game, then don't. Okay? If what you like is a little bit more obscure, but there still is a trend associated with it, then that's okay, but you just have to know the bigger target you can hit a kind of a subordinate market within a bigger market, the degree to which you can hit that is going to work for you better. Like, for example, 30 million people do Minecraft searches every month, or at least last month. It was 30 million people on Google. The amount of people that searched how to start a gaming channel, I think, was 16,000 tops. And, I do have competition in that because there are other people who aren't necessarily coaches, primarily who have been, they did that stuff a lot longer, a long time ago, and so it still has more authority in search. So, just using that as an example, if you can find a niche within Minecraft, then you've got the benefit of a subsidiary group of 30 million people. All right, so that's what I mean. It doesn't have to necessarily be something that's the most popular thing on the planet. Especially, like, I could do Grand Theft Auto 5 videos and probably gain some momentum, but I don't enjoy that game. That's part of my problem too, is I don't enjoy a lot of mainstream games. So, like, I am the stubborn guy. That's why I'm always yelling at y'all, because your goals are different than me. Like, you're trying to build a Let's Play channel. I'm not. Like, I have no interest in building a Let's Play channel, right? So for those of you that are, I'm trying to help you avoid, some of the challenges I would run into if I were doing a Let's Play channel, because I would be inclined to be stubborn and want to play crap that I like, which is usually stuff that other people don't like, right? And then when you do that, you can't be mad about, stunted growth. Okay, anyway, let's keep moving. Zero Hill says hello. What's up, Zero? Okay, so Guardian Soul Blade, I'm going to use you as an example, not for my book, but just going back to the ninja thing. So he says, I need to buy the book, but a bunch of anime is going out of print. So I got to get that. And here's what I cannot stress enough. And again, replace my book with some other book. Okay, just so you know that this isn't a personal thing. When it comes to being a ninja, you got to prioritize. If becoming let's use this as an example. If becoming a good investor is a priority for me, and I know that there's books that can help me do that, but there's a toy or there's some play thing, and I'm not trying to devalue anime by any stretch, but there's something that's going out of print that does have value to me, but it's not necessarily going to add value to my life from the standpoint of this is going to give me tools that enrich my life. So even if the anime goes out of print, I can buy all the freaking anime I want because I've learned how to invest my money properly. Then just think about that. I'm not necessarily saying you need to not go buy your anime and go get the book, but I'm trying to shift everyone's thinking to what we value. Think like an investor, not like a day trader. This is getting ready to go out of business. So one of the things that psychologically plays on us is there's cognitive biases that we all deal with. And in this case, you're dealing with opportunity costs. It's like, this thing's getting ready to go out of print, and if I don't get it right now, I either won't be able to get it or I'll have to pay a crazy markup for it, right? Well, if I taught you how to invest your money properly so that you could buy all the anime you want at any price, which thing would be more valuable to you? Because you still want to have both, but which thing would be more valuable to you? So just think about that for a second. Again, I'm not telling you to go buy the book instead of your anime. I'm sure the anime is